Thank you very much, IK. Colleagues, good afternoon. I'm Mr. Sehoole, the principal of Mankuroane Technical and Commercial, who was appointed in 2008-9. And then I'm from this second town central, Northwest Province, under this district, Dr. Road Sehoole Mumpati. I'm also a person actually who is actually advanced, who has got a potential in terms of ICT. I'm a Microsoft trainer and a certified Microsoft educator, whereby I'm integrating technology in our daily teaching at my school. I'm also a SchoolNet South Africa master trainer who happens, who happens to have completed the Delta course of Commonwealth in 2020. So at the end of the day, colleagues, I'm going to share with you actually how I started my journey with DDD Dashboard information. So this is the man who's going to be with you and take you through actually all the experience, right? So now going back to the session, let us just look at the objectives, right? The session objective is to give you the background of the school performance. Secondly, I'm going to share with you actually how I landed up on this issue of learner and subject profiling from DDD Dashboard. And also, I'm going to share with you how I landed up getting more information on educator profiling, because the school is a circle whereby parents are there, teachers are there, learners are there, subjects are there, but at the end of the day, the results are what we are expecting to produce. Now, let us just go to this question. What is the DDD Dashboard or DDD? DDD is an education data that is submitted by the schools to the province. We submit this information every Friday so that the department and the province can know actually what is happening at our school. This information is about the school, teachers, learners, performance, including the background of the learners who are actually receiving SASA, and then also the information about the subject that the school is offering. So this has been developed to assist the school to actually address some of their problems that they are coming across, because we are from various places. Our differences, our challenges are not the same. Hence, at the end of the day, we do have problems that must be addressed. But in my case, it was actually the issue of underperformance that I came across. So DDD is also providing data that can help to identify the main cause, because we normally generalize and say the school underperformed because of teachers not teaching, but we don't go to the bottom of the whole matter. So it is very much important that we get to the bottom of the whole matter. So DDD is there to assist us, take us through the main cause of underperformance so as to find the correct solution through proper planning. This data provides information on age of the learners, whether the learners are on the risk of actually failing, whether the learners are progressed, how are they doing? Do they need support? Learners who fail more than 2 subjects, how do we actually assist them? So DDD is very, very much important software that is assisting the schools to actually zoom into the main problem. But the question is, where do we get this? The golden opportunity is nothing else but South African SEMS. It is very much important that all principals must be aware of this. They must know actually what is happening. These SEMS provide us the following: school administration and management system, which provided the following: general school information, human resource, learner and parents information, and so forth. So it's a primary tool for capturing data, like as I've indicated. Learners who are receiving grants and so forth. So to ensure that at the end of the day, data is of quality, I took upon myself as the principal to ensure that I do train 2 teachers who will verify, because sometimes it's not right to submit the wrong information to the department and expect it to be assisted. No, it can't be. So you must have 2 teachers trained to verify that information, so that come Friday, when you send this information to Triple D, it is of high quality, because the information provides inside information in Triple D to assist all officials, starting from the circuit manager, district manager, provincial personnel, so that they know actually what is happening. So it is very much important that you must have 2 teachers or even more than that to do that. So as at now, I've got almost 4 teachers who can actually go through this SEMS capturing or validate, so to put it. Now, let me give you the little story of how I landed on Triple D Dashboard. When I was appointed as a school principal, things were just working well for me, because I arrived putting mechanisms in place, putting all the system in place to ensure that we do perform from 2009. And then I had a plan that by the year 2019, the school must be performing at its best. Then Christmas came early for me. In 2017, the school underperformed after performing at 100% in 2016. So we were all excited, saying, we have achieved our goal so early, forgetting to pay attention to the most important items. Like the main cause of the poor performance, I discovered that monitoring of files and curriculum coverage were not consistent. Extra classes were also not consistent. Item analysis were done, but we were not consistent. And the lack of proper mechanism as a follow-up were also challenges. So in 27, I was just stressed up, not knowing what to do. But I had to sit down and say, okay, we do have a program that will assist us. We are sending data to the department through SEMS. So let me just zoom into it and check. Then Triple D Dashboard became my answer. That's where I discovered a comprehensive data about my school poor performance, the information that, as I've already said, uploaded every day. And that's how actually I started my journey with Triple D Dashboard, to try to find out what is going on. And it was in the year 2018. And then it was a year that was not good for me, because I had to be on leave for some time. So I couldn't actually proceed with the zooming of this Triple D information. But when I came back in 2019, that's when now I started to do the spade work. I had to register on Triple D, have my username and my password to ensure that at the end of the day, I can access this information. So in that Triple D Dashboard, this is what we discovered. Give you a summary of the school, the map, and so forth. And the most important one is the reports. The reports are there. Under learner achievements, the SMT can get an insightful information about the reports, school achievement, and subject performance. Also, mark schedule, learner grade 12 and CS performance, promotion statistics report, mathematics, language, and report. And the most important one is learner chart report. That's where I landed, and then I was able to get information about my school learner performance. What is it that I've discovered here? I discovered the following with the grade 9 and grade 10. Why did I start with the grade 9 and grade 10? It was as a result that initially we were not having grade 8 and 9. We were secondary school, studying from grade 10 to 12. But at the end of the day, the measure of the school gave us an opportunity to have grade 8 and 9. So I had to tackle grade 9 as a starting point. And grade 10, why did I start with the grade 10? It's because they are our future grade 12s. That's why I started in 2019. Zoom into them. What is it that I was just checking? I check on the most important thing, being age of the learners. Initially, we were not having challenges in terms of the learners who with age, let me put it like that. But since we were able to have the grade 8 and 9, some learners were admitted being overage, but we cannot throw them out of the system. And then also the learners who are failing in grade 10, who were experiencing the new subject in FET. So we had those overage learners. So I checked the age of the learners. I also checked, like as I've said, how were learners progressed to the next grade, whether were they progressed or did they pass on their own. And I also ensure that I check the number of subjects that they are failing. And then we did not actually talk about the numbers only, because I had to sit down and have a proper plan on ensuring that at the end of the day, we do the right thing. Not all learners were progressed, not all learners were overage, but we had to zoom to those actually learners who are affected. So the learner report came handy for me as a start in 2019 for grade 8 and 9. Now, as a principal, I had to sit down and design this template. This table assisted me to identify the key subjects, because not all subjects were underperforming. And then I had to come up with a column of the number of learners who are affected. Then I had to categorize them. The learners actually who are passing at 40% upwards in grade 9. The learners who are at the margin, that means 30%, and the learners who fail. So being the case, I was able to zoom directly into those learners with the assistance of the subject teachers, because I asked the teachers about the learners who failed their subject, so we were able to sit them down and make the point that we are identifying the right learners. So it was a value for me to populate this timetable, myself as a principal, to have a better understanding of the subject that are at risk and to identify those learners actually who are at risk and then who need assistance. This assisted me to plan my SMT meeting, develop proper mechanism, and find strategies to improve that before we can meet the educators. So the SMT came to the party, and then they have actually agreed that this is the way to go, because it was an insightful exercise that will assist us. So with regard to the grade 9 learners, these are the key subjects that we identified: mathematics, economic management and science, natural sciences, social sciences. And these are the numbers. That means the total number of learners. And then you can see the learners on the grid passing safely at 40%, 24 out of 145. We've got 45 learners who are at risk, 76 learners who are not performing at all, who failed. So it was a worrying factor that the key subject is underperforming. And through DDD, I was able to zoom these numbers, but I did not end up there. I said to the educator, maths educator, identify them. Let us know those learners so that we can see what we can do. Also, EMS, 48 learners who were on the safe side, yellow 43, 54, and so forth. Also natural sciences, 42, yellow 47, those who are not performing 56. Social sciences 145, 73 actually who are on the safe side, 20 yellow line, and then 15 not performing. I also went to such an extent of going to the grade 12 and do the same. And the main subject was accounting, engineering, graphics and design, mathematics, technical mathematics, which was recently introduced in 2016, and also technical sciences, because we are a technical school. We are offering technical subject as well as a commercial subject. So these were the new subject added to our curriculum by the department. So it was also a disaster there. 18 learners in technical mathematics were safely passing. But we look at all those actually on the yellow pass, risk learners, 30. Those who fail, 37. Technical sciences, as you can see, 20 safely pass, yellow on the risk line, and the 41, those who are failing. So these numbers became a main concern for me as the principal and SMT. And after sharing with them, they were really appreciating the work that I've done so that they can actually try to sit down. Because remember, we were enjoying our 2016 pass, but not having mechanisms in place to sustain that pass. So we were just enjoying. But what happened in 2017, it was actually a good thing because it opened our eyes, our mind, so as to do things differently. And then since I was actually an ICT person, I had to think about DDD, whereby we registered, because colleagues, it is very much important that we attend some of these conferences organized by other organizations, because for me to know more about the registration of username and password, it was through one of the conferences that I attended in 2017. So it was organized by SchoolNet for that matter. So at least I was able to have this also on my cell phone to know actually what is happening. So that is why I was able to think quickly and say DDD Dashboard can assist us. So now, after identifying this, then we had to sit down and plan as SMT. We agreed that the following strategies must be in place: meeting with the parents and learners on quarterly basis. It was not just meeting. We were just meeting the learners actually who were not doing well and those actually who are on the risk on the yellow pass. That means at 30%. We ensured that we call the parents, we discuss the performance of the learners, and then individual learners must be given an attention. Number 2, submission of files and lesson plans for monitoring on weekly basis. It was becoming a standing item for us so that we sustain the actual performance of the teachers in the class to ensure that at the end of the day, teachers are on par with the curriculum coverage, and then teachers actually are preparing when they go to class. Motivational talks with the learners on quarterly basis, that's what we have organized. But this, we decided to actually include all the learners, not focusing only on learners who failed, so as to motivate these, because we find ourselves in a situation whereby these learners are exposed to so many things. You'll find that maybe they are people that they idolize, the people actually who are singers, something like that. But at the end of the day, we need motivational talk with the relevant people to ensure that they succeed. And we started having also consistent extra classes that were conducted every Saturday and also on during the week, whereby we afforded some learners, those who cannot attend over the weekend, to attend during the week. So that's how we planned actually to ensure that at the end of the day, we are able to actually sustain this. Now, this is what happened with the grade 8 and 9 that I profiled. Remember, I said I profiled grade 9, 2019, grade 10, 2019. So I was looking at these learners because they are our future grade 12, grade 10s, and grade 9, they are going to follow. This is what I used for DDD Learner Chart Report to provide quality pass in grade 10 to 12. I also went to a certain extent of ensuring that we improve the number of bachelors in grade 10, number of diplomas in grade 10, number of senior certificate in grade 10, and also went further to grade 11 and grade 12. So the very same learners that we zoomed in 2019 went as far as giving us the results, and then they were in grade 12, 2021. These are their numbers, even though they were many by then, but few of them reached grade 12. We were able to get this 29 bachelor degree pass, of which it is 45.31 for the first time, for that matter. Diplomas, 22 learners at 34.8, and then senior certificate 10 at 16. So DDD Dashboard Learner Report, Chart Report assisted me to do all this planning and then to ensure that we are doing that. So, but in 2020, we included all the grades, as you will see when I project some other slides. Then term 4, 2021, you look at the subject that were identified in grade 10, accounting. That was not performing for almost 2-3 years, but we had it now an improvement up to 70% for the very first time. Engineering, graphics, and design, which was also not performing, it was now performing at 80% for the past 2 years, 2020 and 2021. Technical mathematics, which was giving learners a challenge, also improved from 56% to 71%. And also the tech science that I forgot to include it also improved. So our total achievement for, or prediction, let me put it like that, for our target for 2022, we are targeting 100% because last year, 2021, we were at 87.5. So all the strategies that I've identified are the ones that now are monitored, are in place. I monitor them with the SNT to ensure that at the end of the day, we do have actually the correct information. Triple D also assisted me to access the module of subject year-on-year comparison report. That means I was able to say, last year we performed at this particular percentage. And then even this subject in grade 8 performed at this particular percentages, grade 10, 11, and 12. So I was able to zoom to that and then to get that comparison report. So at the end of the day, I was able to develop this subject year-on-year performance. Like in 2018, for instance, in grade 10, 87.01, 2019, 85, and then 2020, 94. So this table, I developed it to actually remind the teachers about the performance of the subject year in, year out, comparing them for the past 4 years. Then I was just saying to them, since our main objective is to have quality results at 40%, let me include also the risk column of 30%. Then if the teachers target something like 90%, but they cannot actually achieve it, at least they must land at 30%, not actually to fail of level 1, because we want to get rid of level 1, because in the next future, we are going to get rid of level 2 again. So our main target is 40%. So these are the subjects that we are offering at my school, and then we are able to track them from grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12. That's what I said to you, that guys, at the end of the day, we must actually ensure that we track all the subjects from grade 8, 9, and 10. So this is an example of grade 10 and 11 up to 12. So that is why in 2019, our learners performed at 85%. And then come 2020, the results improved. And then 2021, we were at 87.5% because we were able to track down the performance comparison report. But I did not end up there with the subject colleagues. I also zoomed to educator information. Like as I've said, Triple D is also assisting us to actually find information about the teachers, because teachers are also captured, their qualifications and everything. When the learners did not perform in 2016, I had to go to this Triple D dashboard and focus mainly on educator information report and check, is the teacher employed to teach the right subject? I discovered that here and there, teachers, because of their experience, they were teaching the subject that they were not qualified for. So I had to come up with a radical change in 2018, 2019 to ensure that I go all out to headhunt teachers actually who can teach. Because of what? Because of Triple D dashboard report of educator information. I was able to profile them, looking at the grades, looking at the number of years and the teaching experience here. So subject specialization became the main focus. And then also the number of years that they are teaching the subject or they've been trained to, and the number of years. So this assisted me in planning to ensure that I get the right teachers at the right place for the right learners. Hence, I was able to come up with changes in the following subject in GD. I had handed the teachers in one of our institutions in Free State to ensure that I get the right teacher, and then that's what I did, about 2 of them. And then also accounting, I was able to get those teachers, and also for those who are qualified in tech maths and tech science. So I was able to appoint them because I was able to profile some teachers. But those teachers who were teaching this subject without proper qualification, they had to be redeployed to their specific subject. That is why in 2021, we were able to get good results. And like as I did with the subject, with the learners, I developed the following template: to identify the key subject, the educator, and the number of learners who actually wrote, and then again, check it against the pass requirement of 40% and 30%, and those who fail. And this is what I've just come up with. The key subjects are the following one: mathematics, economic management and science, natural science, and social science. I was able to identify these teachers and place the right teachers to their right subject, so that at the end of the day, they do the right. Because you can look at the statistics that I've just given it to you. 76 learners in mathematics failing, and it's a key subject. You look at EMS, a key subject, natural science, a key subject, social science, a key subject. So these figures were worrying me a lot. That is why I was able also to zoom to educators to say, your educators, you must be checked in terms of your qualification. And that's how I was able to go all out to ensure that I put mechanisms in place. And this is actually what I did: profiling of teachers' qualification to ensure that they are at the right place, teaching the right learners. And then we have to put the following mechanisms in place: lesson submission on weekly basis, subject meetings on monthly basis, monitoring of syllabus coverage on monthly basis, and educator attendance, because it is very much important. A teacher who is absent must recover the time lost, because once the teacher doesn't do that, obviously in terms of the curriculum coverage is going to be behind. So that is why this DDD assisted me to actually track down these teachers to ensure that they do have extra classes, and we monitor their syllabus coverage. And as an ICT personnel myself, I ensure that we are equipped with resources, and then our school must integrate the resources. We are still a little bit behind, but we are almost there, because in 2016, when I won a trip to Hungary, to Europe, for Microsoft conference, when I came back, we were given tablets, and that's where I started my journey with ICT integration in teaching and learning. And then the government came later with their project of supplying the schools with tablets. That is why we are getting there, because now we've got internet connectivity, so we are getting there. Even though now the challenge that I'm having is the number of learners are going up, because they've heard about our school improvement of results. So the last point, monitoring of educators for in terms of learner portfolio, whether what they are teaching the learners is there in their learners' files. So we also put that mechanism. So all these strategies that I've mentioned about the learners, about teachers, are mechanisms that are in place to sustain our performance. Remember 2016, we celebrated before we can put all these things in place. We were just happy to get 100% pass, but 2017, it was totally a different year, whereby poor performance just came up, because at the end of the day, the learners were the ones actually who suffered, and then also our reputation as a school suffered a lot. So this is what I've done. So to recap with your colleagues, if you are the principal of the school, know your school from the bottom of your heart. Identify the reasons for poor performance. Don't think about them. Just go through DDD dashboard report to get the right reasons, the correct reasons why your school is not performing. What you need to do as a school manager, once your data is actually uploaded every day, every Friday, you will receive a report the following week about DDD. You register, you get your username, you get your password, then you can zoom into your school and check the following: learners information, subject performance, learners at risk, learners actually who cannot actually cope, so that you intervene before the problems can be a bigger one. Rather keep the problem rather than leaving the problem to explode at the end of the day. So it is very much important that as a principal go through it. I was looking in DDD just to check since 2018 to date, because I'm checking every day. Maybe if I'm late, I will check it after 2 weeks, but I do actually ensure that every week, I'm checking that information. So the learner profiling is there to assist us. Subject profiling is there to assist us to address the challenges that we are getting. Because sometimes we do get learners actually who are confronted with very serious problems, but we just called the learners without actually ensuring that we check what is the problem. But by profiling the learners, seeing that the learners have failed something like 3 subjects, 4 subjects, we call that particular learner, we check what is the problem. And our Department of Life Orientation is doing a wonderful job, since we have put all these mechanisms in place to ensure that learners who are confronted with socio-economic challenges are assisted. That is why we do have social workers now who are actually based at our school to assist these learners. We have been allocated those social workers, for instance. If we do have learners actually with more challenges, we do have actually the people who can assist. And then also the educator profiling, very much important that you go through educator information report. You check the qualification of the teachers, the competency, whether the teacher can deliver. Not actually to scold the teacher and say, you are not working, you are not doing this and this, but rather to assist the teacher to develop, because it will assist us, or it will assist you as a principal to take that teacher for further training of in that subject. Like for instance, in accounting, after getting a new teacher in accounting, for instance, I had to invite a subject specialist of accounting to come and actually instill discipline in that particular teacher, a new teacher for that matter, to actually produce. That is why the guy was able to produce good results from 23% to 69%. So on that note, colleagues, I will say DDD became handy for me, and then it is my weapon to actually identify the reasons for poor performance. It's my friend since 2018, 2019. And looking at the performance of the school, colleagues, let me just take you a little bit back to this slide of school performance. This one. After we have introduced technical science, technical maths, the numbers in mathematics and physical science went down. They were there, it was compulsory for each and every learner, but unfortunately, some learners actually ran away from pure mathematics, pure science, to technical science, technical maths. Then I had actually a plan in place, because it became a worrying factor that I decided that I should go through different websites and check for assistance. And I landed on the website of Wits University, whereby they are offering maths and science extra classes online. Then I applied, we were accepted, and then our learners now, specifically for mathematics and physical science, because the numbers are low now, I'm trying to entice the learners to come back to this subject being mathematics and physical science, so that they improve the results, we improve the number of learners taking mathematics and physical science, so that at least we can have learners, even if all of them, they cannot go to TVET colleges, we must also have learners actually who are going for higher education at Wits University or maybe different universities. Let me put it like that. So we are in partnership with Wits University through the assistance of Mankuroane Company. They are offering learners from grade 10 to 12 maths on sites online lesson. The following subjects are provided: maths, mathematics, physical science, English, and technical subject being mechanical technology. So the first week it was grade 12 learners, the following week it was grade 11 learners, and then this week is grade 10 learners. And the learners are so active. Like, I was so excited yesterday. The presenter was able to involve learners here. They were able to answer whilst they were here in group, and then they were actually very much actively participating in that program. So I see the light at the end of the tunnel, having more learners coming to mathematics and physical science, because that program is going to assist us for the next coming 3 years. And another addition bonus for that is that the very same teachers who are teaching this subject, English, mathematics, and science, they are the teachers actually who are going to be trained to get 6 points. Every Friday they are attending, they are given that online lessons training on 6 approved courses. Then after they passed, their points will be registered with 6 to assist them to ensure that at least at the end of the day, they are capacitated. So I'm looking forward to a good partnership between the school and Wits University about this online lesson for maths and science. The reason being, the numbers were going down. So colleagues, Triple D assisted me a lot. It opened my mind, my ears, everything. And then it assisted me to communicate closely with my SMT. It assisted me to come closer to the teachers, not to look at the educator at a distance, but to be closer to each other, to actually check what is the problem, what are the challenges that they are coming across. So I think we are on the right path to ensure sustainability of our results, because you look from 2018 to 2019, the results steadily were going up. And look, for instance, just to share with you, in 2021, it happens that I was COVID patient. I was not there at school for almost 5 months. But just because the mechanisms were in place, I communicated with the SMT, I communicated with the teachers. They carried on with what we have agreed upon: extra classes, monitoring. And then at the end of the day, when I came back around December, I saw that everything was going on well without any hiccups. And then look what we got, from 85% to, I'm sorry, from 75% to 85.7%. So it was a great achievement. That means teachers were also on board with me, because I was not there 2021, 5 months, just imagine. But they were able to soldier on to ensure that we get the results, because I share my dream. I share all my plans with them to say, guys, this is the way to go. And now they have embraced everything. And remember also, in 2018, I had some challenges there, whereby I could not start with this Triple D, but I never said it is too late, but I started with it 2019, but it's bearing a good results, because we want to sustain results with the mechanisms that are in place because of Triple D. Viva Triple D. I thank you all. That's what I wanted to share with you, my story, my success, my challenges with your colleagues. So I was just saying, come in and be part of Triple D. I thank you. Okay?
Wonderful. Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Sehoole. I cannot express my excitement and just my sheer pleasure, because normally in this platform, we do a good job of communicating the data availability, but we don't have the skills to talk about interventions. And here you are today speaking to us about what you've been able to do in your school. Really hoping that it's as inspiring to me as it is to the principals on the ground. I think now what is best is for us to actually have a look at questions that colleagues might have. And please, I welcome questions, colleagues. There's no stupid question. There's no valueless question. Remember, Mr. Sehoole has got a school to run. And so it's possible that we might not see him in this platform again. So let's take advantage of a colleague who's doing something that's working for him to expand even deeper. And so please, let's bring our questions so that we can hear clearly what is it that he's able to do. I really like your comment there, Mr. Sehoole, where you said, DDD is my weapon to identify poor performance. It has been a friend since 2018. I think that's quite a lovely statement. There's a question here from Dimaka Tsompahlele. They're saying, good afternoon. Could you please share the website of WITS or contact details in terms of the online classes for learners and teachers? We'll definitely do that. So as you know, colleagues, we have a pack that we send out. We usually send it within a day, but officially it takes us 2 days to put it together. But check your emails. We'll be sending to you the slide for this session, the PowerPoint, including all the strategies that Mr. Sehoole has attempted, along with a recording to this session. So look forward to that. And in that pack, we'll also add that information for VIT. Unless you have it ready, sir, feel free to put it in the chat, then we can share it with everybody. We've got a couple of colleagues here. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
I will just send it to you so that you can distribute it fairly from your site.
I agree. Now we also have 3 of our colleagues with their hands raised. We have Lucy Miaka, we have Sabi Sikhobela, and we've got the friend of the show and our friend in the department here, Trishan Maraj. I've given you permission to speak, colleagues, but before I do, I think looking at the time, let me launch the polls at this stage. Colleagues, you'll notice that the polls are slightly adjusted. We are testing a new way of doing the polls. Instead of 3 questions, we have 5 there. It may stay, we may change it. We just need to check whether it aligns with our internal policies, but we thought it does a better job of actually hearing exactly how you felt about the webinar. If there's 5 options there instead of 3, please attend to that while we speak question and answers, and we'll see if that's something that we bring back, if that's something that works for us. But now let me now go to Lucy. Lucy, if you could unmute yourself and ask your question, please. Lucy Miaka. Lucy, you're looking for the mute button, bottom left, you'll see there is a microphone there. You just click on that microphone, it will allow us to speak to us. Go ahead. Lucy, I can hear something going through. Please speak to us. Can you hear us? All right, let me park Lucy for a second there and jump to Trishan. Trishan, are you ready to make your comments or questions?
Yes, Musa, good day, colleagues. Am I audible?
Loud and clear, sir. Please go ahead.
Thank you. You know what, I just want to say or commend Principal for the presentation that he made. It shows that we still have people that are very passionate in education and the right people in the right posts. I hope that, or wish that he could have been in our district. It's good. It's really good to see that he's using holistically the dashboard in terms of planning before he's executing intervention strategies to try and improve the results at his school. And I really want to commend him on that. Keep up the good work. Just a few things. He noted at the very beginning that he trained 2 teachers in terms of quality assurance, but we mustn't forget that we need to ensure that, first of all, our SMT members are primarily responsible for quality assurance. And if he's been able to train 2 teachers, why not train them all? Just a way forward. A lot of the presentation was about grade 9, 10, 11, and matric. But in terms of longevity, just a bit of advice, maybe start off with grade 8, because 5 years down the line, we don't want to have a problem in terms of the learners, in terms of dropouts or having issues with certain subject in understanding work in certain subjects, because I see that he already mentioned that a lot of learners have left the math subject. So if that is the case, we need to, from grade 8 level already, strengthen our support, especially in the mathematics, by facilitating ISPs and subject improvement plans, and changing it to check, because we have different learners sitting in front of us every year. So in adapting those ISPs and subject improvement plans, it will give us a better chance of those learners understanding the work at grade 9 level before they actually make their subject choices. But yeah, he's mentioned a lot of things that he's done in terms of support. It's just maybe here and there, he needs to tweak it a little bit depending on the performance over the past few years in specific subjects, in specific grades. And then I'm telling you in advance, I'm stealing this presentation and I'm going to send it on our principals group, because really for a principal to be doing this, you are extremely special, and I take my hat off to you. So from your side as well, maybe at the next principals meeting, ask for a spot to present this, because really people need to see the light, and I'm sure people that are on this platform now, they have seen the lights. Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Mrs. Sehoole, do you want to respond to those concerns about grade 8 there, and also some,
sorry, Musa.
Yes.
Your audio is your audio is just a little not audible. If you can just get closer to the mic.
No problem. It's probably a spurt in my internet. Mr. Sehoole, do you want to respond to Trishan there?
Yes, thank you. Okay. Thank you for your comments, my dear colleague, for your inputs. And then let me also thank you for actually congratulations for taking you through all my journey through with DDD. And to be honest with you, with the grade 8, I started to be with you. I started this year, 2022, whereby I got the right teachers for maths and natural science, so that we built from grade 8. So it's a project that started this year. But let me thank you for your inputs, and also about the specific subject. I think I'm gonna go that route with your advice now, because generally I was just generalizing here and there, but I will go through. But anyway, thank you for your inputs, valuable inputs. Thank you.
Wonderful. Some other comments and questions coming in. Good day. How do we do the training of SSMs for educators, and when? Mr. Sehoole, what was your strategy to train your educators?
Actually, it came as a result of my admin assistant. She was one of those who were appointed before technology. She was taken through training, but she was very much slow. Then what came to my mind is that I said, well, I've got young teachers actually who are from universities, colleges. Why can't I rope them in? Because for me, I was inquisitive with ICT. So I started to go through SAMs, and then I saw that no, it's a program that can be accessed by everybody, and then even I can actually empower 2-3 teachers. Then that's why I started empowering about 2 teachers, because I still remember at some stage our admin assistant was on leave for almost 2 months, 3 months, but just because I had those 2 teachers, that training assisted me a lot, because they were able to complete that, upload every Friday. And then I went to, as far as actually training another 2 teachers, they are 4. Like as my fellow colleague advised, I will just try to train almost everybody. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that, Menief. We do also have Shabishi Sehoole. I haven't forgotten you. Would you please kindly unmute yourself and make your comments? Shabishi Sehoole.
Good day, sir.
Yes, sir. Hear you loud and clear.
Actually, I'm clarified, sir. I'm really happy with the presentation, and I really appreciate all these things, sir. Thanks very much. I don't want to take much on that because my question is answered. Thank you very much.
All right. Meniel's question has been answered there. Some congratulations and good strategies. This one is from Masundo Nesemari, and an anonymous attendee saying afternoon. Its online classes accommodating primary teachers as well. Mrs. Sehoole, do you have a comment on that one? as far as WITS accommodating primary schools?
As far as vets, they are starting this project of online teaching. They are starting with FET only for now, but they said they will just look at it, how it unfolds, and then if things go well, they will look for more sponsors so that they can expand it to grade 8 and 9. And maybe they will go also for the primary schools. But for now, they are concentrating on FET and then also the intentions of including grade 8 and 9 in the near future. And also including the number of schools, because right now they are focusing on some few technical schools and some general high schools, but the majority of the schools are the schools that are offering technical subject and maths and science. So we shall hear from them. I will just ask them and I will share information with you so that you can, from time to time, you can share with colleagues around the country.
Fantastic. And as we've noted, colleagues, we will put that information in the pack that we sent. A comment here from Albert Erasmus: the item analysis after the analysis on DDD is crucial. Well done, Principal. There is no more other questions that I'm seeing here, so I'm just going to jump to chats here. The only other question I'm seeing on chat was a colleague who was struggling with the full screen. And I think I just want to take 30 seconds, colleagues, here to show you, because this is something I'm pretty sure I've heard in this session before, someone having an issue with it. You might not be able to see my Zoom. Actually, you won't be able to see my Zoom, but follow my arrow, colleagues. You'll see there right here in the corner where my arrow is here. There will be a button there that you press, and when you press that button, it will give you a whole range of different kinds of views that you can have. If you're not fully seeing the presentation, if it's small, it's probably because you're in the wrong kind of view. But right here, you won't be able to see it, but there's options on Zoom that are there where I'm dancing the arrow at. If you click there, you'll be able to adjust the view so that you're able to see everything that you need to see. I'm seeing more questions around the WITS contact. We'll definitely add that. And then let's see here, I'm scrolling down the chat some more here to see if there's any questions that might have come through the chats that we might have missed. Yeah, some comments there, colleagues wanting the pack of the slides along with the recording. We will send that to you in the email address that you use to register. If for some reason you're not seeing that, please contact us on help@ddddashboard.co.za. We will also share that shortly. Here's a comment from Usim Vuyana. Do learners have to pay for these VET online classes? And are they paying for these, Mr. Sehoole?
Thank you. Thank you, Musa. The learners are not paying anything. It was a matter of just asking for assistance. How can they assist us? And then we were at the right place at the right time. We applied and then we were accepted or selected. Then after that, I also went as far as asking, how are they going to assist us? Because we are from a poor background. We are from a rural area for that matter. So the personnel that was handling the whole matter said, no, because you are from a rural area, we are not going to ask you anything. Just ask the parents to support your learners because our lessons are going to start from 3 o'clock up to 4:30. But no learners are going to pay. So nothing is paid for the next coming 3 years, but it's for the parents to support us now so that we do have learners of high quality in terms of maths and science. Thank you.
You answered it, but I think it's worth mentioning. And I know we are at this point at 1 o'clock, we will be closing the session soon, but I do want you to attend to this one. In terms of the post-establishment, how did Mr. Sehoole manage to recruit experienced and qualified teachers on top of the allocated teachers who ended up being on excess? Mr. Sehoole?
Yeah, thank you very much, Dade Musa. My situation was totally different. When I arrived here, we had about something like 18 teachers. And because of my minimal strategies that were put in place by then, 2010, 2011, my enrollment increased steadily. So instead of having teachers who are actually in addition, we did not experience that, but rather we were having more posts to employ new teachers. So my PPM went higher from 18 to 22. Then after introducing some few subjects, technical subjects like welding, automotive, and electrical power, we experience the high enrollment now. So parents were just now sharing the success of the school with others. So parents started to bring their learners from various villages because we are the only technical school around the area. So the word was out there that Mankuroane Technical is doing very well. So the numbers were just increasing year in, year out. Because as at now, for instance, we do have 27 teachers. So that is why when I employed the teachers, I had to go all out to get the right people because now my staff is increasing. We never experienced in addition at all. So we were lucky enough. But the capacity of the school for 2022 is full. I think that is going to be the number that I'm going to have now because of the number of classes. I had to turn some of the classes to ICT classes. So it was it's a work in progress, but definitely sure with the number of teachers I'm having, I think I'm okay, but I managed to get the right people at the right place. So no challenges of in addition at all. Thank you, Musa.
Wonderful, Mr. Sehoole. I think at this point, colleagues, we could have this discussion until 5 o'clock, but I do want to set colleagues free for other prior scheduled appointments that might be having. I think what I want to do now is actually thank Mr. Sehoole and Felicity, who is our team member on the ground there in the Northwest, for putting together the session. I do now want to cut to you, Felicity, for any final words before we close the session, and then IK also be on standby.
All right, now thank you, Musa. I think my last comments is just to say thank you, Mr. Sehoole, and thank you to all the participants that joined us today. Here on the screen, just look out for your province, and you can just get in touch there with the coordinator who will then assist you to get that password and username that Mr. Sehoole spoke about so that we can get you started so that you're able to do your analysis. Thank you so much. See you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Felicity. IK, any parting words there from you?
Thank you so much, Musa, and a very big thank you, Mr. Sehoole, for this amazing presentation. I saw from the comments that we are seeing that the attendees really took a whole lot from this. And, you know, the next thing is the call to action. What do we do with this? Colleagues, remember what we always say. The slides will be sent to you. You know, just practice what is being taught. If you have questions, the slide is up. You can reach out to also our help desk. You know, we can actually assist you. But Mr. Sehoole put practice into what he has learned and form the dashboard. And that's what we are saying. You know, after each webinar, what do we do? Go back, look at the presentation, try those things that you have learned, and remember, practice, and then you actually get a hand of doing what you are asked to do. Colleagues, thank you so much. We will see you here tomorrow also. The same topic, Mr. Sehoole is going to be here. Thank you so much for also having to steal 2 of your days, just 1 hour, 2 of your days. We are immensely grateful for also agreeing to be here tomorrow. Colleagues, if you feel that you have learned a lot from today, please extend the invitation to your colleagues, to your friends, and let's all gather here tomorrow, the same time, the same platform for another session of this. From my side, thank you so much. And thank you so much for the team that made this happen. Thank you. Over to you, Musa.
Thanks, IK. Mr. Sehoole, your final words before we close the session?
Yeah, at this point in time, let me say thank you very much, Daddy Musa. Thank you very much, Daddy IK. Thank you very much, May Felicity, for this wonderful opportunity, because I was worried initially when you asked me to share my experience with DDG Roadshow, May Felicity. I was a little bit nervous, but that exercise built confidence in me. That is why today I'm here. I was able just to share with colleagues all over the country. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Long hours. Yes, I think nothing else to say but goodbye, colleagues. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you for attending.
Whew.